And we're live. So, Kyle, you're 100% off the Cybertruck train.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen, and I want a car sooner rather than later. So, like,
why is it not going to happen?
Because
we
Elon
had
Musk says things.
Yeah,
that
we
don't
had
happen.
was it Matt Farah?
Yeah, Farah. I think you're right.
Matt Farah, yeah.
We had him on,
and
and he seemed to think that it was likely not even going to happen. That they just wanted like more money.
What show number did you? I watch all.
Pretty recent, say 2 or 3
like,
ago,
like 4 shows ago, something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I trust his opinion on whatever you're about to say.
Yeah, he said he just thought it was unrealistic that in its current iteration that it would happen for a lot of reasons, and one of them being the European market. But and I'm also like in the market for a car like right now. But I keep like bouncing back and forth. What I'm like looking at right now, because I'm moving to Colorado either as soon as I'm either able to get out of my probation or October 8th, which is the other which is like the last day I could possibly still be on probation. So I'm thinking like maybe I need something with all-wheel drive out there. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at the Jaguar F-Type and all-wheel drive.
I like the car. I had a friend who had the you want the F-Type, not an SUV. You want a coupe.
Yeah,
or you talking about the F-Pace?
See, I want a sports car, but I want all-wheel drive, and I don't want a fucking Subaru.
Get an R8. That's like the de facto all-wheel drive, all-terrain sports car for people in the Northwest. That, and I think the GTR is also all-wheel drive.
So
I don't want to spend $100,000.
Is that way
fair
out of
play?
date?
The F-Type is great.
What happened to the?
It's a really good song.
Tucker, it's not. Yeah. This isn't a Subaru solution, or maybe Kyle's just not a lesbian.
I literally just said I don't want a fucking Subaru.
He didn't want a Subaru.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was, dude. My mind is blown away by this car. This is a very handsome car.
Yeah, the Jag is like it's a clear step above from Subi. There's nothing that Subaru makes that is the same level of like attention to detail. Yeah, if they have an all-wheel drive car, that's a solid choice. There's
the F-Type
Audis
comes in all-wheel drive.
Yeah, a lot of Audis have all-wheel drive that are also good too.
I looked at the Audis.
Yeah,
I look at the Audis, the Mercedes, the BMW, because like it's kind of those companies that make all-wheel drive cars. I think what I was really excited about at first was Dodge Challengers coming all-wheel drive, but only for the V6. And
why?
It's like, I don't know why.
It defeats the purpose.
It defeats the purpose. It's like I want a Dodge. I was like, I'll just get a Dodge Challenger. It's not my favorite car, but if it's all-wheel drive and it's kind of it's a muscle coupe, that's what I want. Yeah. I'll just get a nice one of those. But no, only the V6.
I assume not a convertible. I see it's offered in a convertible.
I would try to steer away from the convertible being in like a snowy, cold environment.
Have a real winter.
Better handling too in a coupe.
True.
Yeah.
And when I hear Jaguar, and this is an old opinion, so it could be out of date, I hear reliability issues. That doesn't concern you? Is it maybe not true anymore?
Like again, it wasn't my first pick, but it sort of fits it checks a lot of the boxes that I'm looking for, and it looks good. It's a little bit fancy. It's all-wheel drive. It's fast, and those are kind of the things I'm after in a car right now. But like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because like there aren't a lot of them that are less than like $60,000 that are all-wheel drive.
Your sleeper pick here, if you're looking for affordability, luxury, but you're not necessarily like, you don't really care too much about the brand, is Infiniti. The Q60, the Q60 is one of the, I think it's like 40 grand.
I looked at it.
As good as anything, but excuse me, but it's just like, it's an Infiniti. So
I looked at the front of it and I was just like the grill, and I was just like, oh yeah, next. Yeah. Like it just grossed me out. Like just the front end of that car didn't look nice to me.
You're Tucker, pretty much the Lexus RC. Ooh.
What does an Infiniti mean to you? Like I hear it's an Infiniti. I think it's a luxury car. It's an Infiniti. It's nice.
Infiniti isn't. They're a luxury car in the same way that they're kind of like a step below Lexus. It's not like a car. It's a car that I think of when I'm thinking like good bang for your buck. That in like the Hyundai Genesis, or I think it's just like Genesis now. So it's like you get visually, if somebody has no idea what cars there are and they get into your Q40 or Q60 or whatever, they're gonna be like, damn, nice car, right? But it's like not as good in the power. It's not like the materials aren't as nice as like German it's just a good car. It's not as nice as Lexus, but it's like a nice middle ground. So I don't think it's
And
definitely
I'm worried
like
that Lexus is. I haven't seen one up close. I haven't been in one. It looks small to me though. It looks small, like the same way like the Audi TT kind of checks all these
that
boxes.
car is small.
But
Yeah.
I've been in an Audi TT and it's way too small.
Yeah.
The
Now
Q60, this Infiniti, it looks nice to me, but that Jaguar looked eye catching. Like I see this in
Yeah.
Q60, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice car. It's even a very
But
nice car, but it's
also
not like
50% more. The
True.
Jag is 50% more too. So you're like,
Fair. That's a good point.
And I also looked at the Durango. I know this is like completely out of left field compared to the rest of the stuff, but the Durango SRT, I found a black one with like red racing stripes, and that thing looks kind of sick.
You're gonna die if you get that.
Why? What made you say that?
Because it's got the SRT doesn't. It's got like 500 horsepower.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty fast, but like I mean, I'm already driving a car with like over 400. Like I know how to be safe. I don't go fast.
You've been here. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the other option I suppose would be to just get a new Camaro, like I was intending to begin with, and then just buy a truck as well. Just like get some sort of like,
a beater.
Get a beater truck to take out in the snow to get groceries if I need to.
What I've really started to think about as like having as an auxiliary vehicle is the new Ford Bronco, because it starts at like 28,000, and I like the base model. It's just like, fucking throw your shit in there. And then it's like they have like very convenient stuff, like all the floor mats, you can take them off, and then if you hose it off, they have drainage spouts at the bottom of the floorboards. You can literally just fucking hose your whole car off.
I kind of like the way the new Bronco looks. The only thing that turned me off was I saw that it was on the Rangers like platform or whatever, and not the F-150. So it's just a little bit smaller. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm actively looking at cars, but I haven't made my mind up on exactly what. If I could find an F-Type that was all-wheel drive and in my price range, I'd probably just pull the trigger on that, because I agree, it does look really nice.
Yeah.
And all-wheel drive sports car is real. I've driven a WRX STI, I think, is like and that thing's insane. Like that thing's insane. The handling and the power that it has in the corners. Like,
which one again?
Subaru WRX STI. Now I don't want one because I don't like the way they look. But someone had traded one in. Once.
It's what I love. The Lancer and the Eve, or the Lancer and the STI. You're like, oh, I love Fast and Furious movies.
Someone had traded one in to the dealership I worked at, and we took it out, and we just kept going faster and faster into these sharp corners, and like we just weren't feeling any body roll. It was just sticking to the pavement no matter how fast you went into the corners. And like coming back out of the corners, it just had so much speed. You could just feel it digging in, and like had so much torque. It like well over 300 horsepower, because this one was a little bit souped up. It had like gauges down, whatever you call that thing that's between the windshield, the A-pillar. Yeah, it's got like gauges down there for the NOS. There was nitrous oxide in the back, but it wasn't charged, and it was just so goddamn fast. But I don't like the way the car looks at all.
Yeah. They don't look good at all.
It's this. My friend used to race in these leagues. Basically, they'd go to like an empty mall parking lot, set up some cones, and race. And the STI was the second best car that for that kind of racing.
Yeah.
What do they call it? It's not motocross. It's like autocross or something like that. They still do that, where it's set up cones in the big parking lot and just have at it.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, he did all this shit. It was like, you can do that. He was always like off-road motorcycling. He had a STI with a roll cage in it, and I knew him from off-roading. He had that too. But yeah, cool shit. The Miata was the best car for that kind of racing because it's so light. I guess weight is almost everything.
Yeah.
I gotta ask this though, like, is your car now safe? Because like when your car was getting vandalized, like I'm one of those people that would like really be upset about that. And you've got a nice car.
I did. I used to have a nice car, so my lease ran out in May. So right when the pandemic was first coming into play, and everybody was shutting down any reason to travel. I haven't gotten on an airplane in 9 months, which is crazy to me. And so my lease was up, and I was like, I guess I don't really need a car. I haven't driven in 1 whole month since March, so I haven't had a car since then. This new place does have an annoyingly secure garage where you need 2 key fobs and a key card to get to the residential zone. So I can't like ask a friend to come park up there because they don't have all the shit. But if I had a car, great. Don't have a car. It's
Yeah, I
kinda
guess you could.
weird.
You're a good use case for like a really cheap lease too, like one that has super low miles. Being where you
So
are.
yeah, that's what I had. I had it was a C43 AMG Mercedes, which like it was brand new for that model year. It was like 670, $690 a month, right? But
Yeah,
I said I'm only going to put 3,000 miles a year on it for 3-year lease. And they're like, "What the hell?" So I got it for like 480 a month, which
yeah,
is the same price as the car that I had given in, the C300, without any of that shit. So I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this is a no-brainer for me." But
Can,
I mean, yeah.
what did you say the mileage was? I didn't catch it.
3,000 a year, but I only put 7,200 miles in 3 years on it.
they
Oh.
credit you back for that.
No, I didn't even ask, honestly. I
Oh.
was like, "Thanks."
Bastards.
Like, well, I mean, the rims were really scuffed up from, like,
Ah,
and I was just like, "You guys just want it back?" And they looked at it, they're like, "We'll take it back." And I'm like, "Great, I'm gonna leave now."
yeah. The last lease I turned in, I had wrecked it and I never told them,
Mm.
and I was just like, so we're good here. They're like, yeah, yeah, you can leave. Hey, I could interest you in the new model, and I was like, no, 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 have a good one, have a good one. I'm gonna go. Meanwhile, the Acura TL had sustained some serious damage. I used to sell cars, and I've done plenty of leases. I don't know what you're supposed to do when you wreck a lease.
How did you
I
get
did.
out of it? Like they
Well, I
didn't have
told
to
you.
bring the police car back there, and they
I
go,
mean, I
"Oh,
had it repaired
oh,
shoddily.
okay."
All right. See, I didn't get into an accident. Somebody rear-ended me. An uninsured driver rear-ended me in that car, which was lovely. Like that was the start of all of this. And so,
Mhm.
because I didn't know either. I was like, I don't even own this car. Like, do they just take it and give me a new one? I called Mercedes up and they said, "Oh, we don't actually do any of the repairs. You can take it to one of these 13,000 shops across California and just they'll fix it. And then that's that. And if we have any problems with it, it's the shop's fault, not yours." And I was like, perfect. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the case with all of them, but it's like very enticing to have a lease over owning a car, especially if you like getting something different every 3, 5 years, you know?
Yeah, and if you are accepting the idea of like a car payment is a way of life, like I
Yeah.
know
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like Woody drove his little truck for like a decade or more or something, and I'm sure there was some security in knowing like I own that car. The only the only cost that's going to come from it is like putting a new set of tires on it every 4 years.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's what I
when I
want.
left my sort of steady paycheck and went to YouTube, even though things were good, like you never know when the bottom drops out, and it felt like I was on the edge of getting canceled 10 times, in 5 years. I always did something that was, made a whole series of YouTube videos about me. There were people
You were a
devoted.
boogeyman.
He
You were a
was known
boogeyman for
as
sure.
the bad boy of YouTube.
They refer to him as El Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just felt like everyone hard scoped everything I said, looking for a reason to cancel me. And stuff like having the mortgage and the cars paid off felt good.
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
what I want. No mortgage. Well, I don't own anything on my car. I'm the opposite of you guys. I don't need something new every 3 to 5 years. I want something that's never going to break down. And like you said, the most expensive thing is the tires.
I'm actively looking right now. I was just talking to my
98
dad about
Civic
that on the
right
phone.
there.
Not yet.
22 years old. You might have
No, you
other
know what
things
I'm-
to pay
you know-
for.
That
The
car
ult-
won't break.
The ultimate car, you know
What?
those post office mail delivery
Yes.
cars? Those have been in use since like the 80s. I'm going to buy myself one of those and I
I think
can
it's
drive
80
it.
horsepower. I looked into it. It's like 80 horsepower, no AC,
Back
no
roads.
heat.
And the door's always open.
Does it have a door?
Which helps with the AC.
And you
Yeah.
have to get used to driving on the right. It'll be
You-
like I'm in jolly old England every day. As I'm just ruining traffic going 35 on the highway.
I wonder what the top speed of
Fucking
Ooh.
50 or 60
not
tops.
That's a good
fast. I
guess.
it
I
can't be
like
more
that.
than 50, 75 miles per hour.
That's perfect.
It's like my
Dude, I
motorcycle.
promise you, that's one of those. That's one of
Okay.
those. That's one of those numbers that they're like, but don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do
Well,
it.
the
Well,
top-
you could eat 60,000 calories of honey a day. Don't. Yeah, but I mean, I just remember being blown away when I heard that those are like, I think it's since like 1992. All those old ass looking mail cars.
earlier than
all
that,
from
it says
them.
the 80s the USPS had to put them through like a circuit to make sure that they were capable. And I'm looking at it and it's just, it's like
It's a row of
1,000 key
mailboxes.
presses. Yeah, it's just like driving circles for 5,000 miles at 55 miles an hour straight. I'm like, all right, like
That's a
That's it.
legit test.
That's
I mean,
quite a
like,
route.
if something is like a piece of junk, it won't do that. But so
No.
that's pretty good. Like
Yeah.
NASCAR cars can't fucking do that.
Did we engineer those, or did we like get Korea or someone to make our mail truck?
Oh, that's American made, right
If that's
there.
American, that's the last example of tremendous American engineering, right? Well, Tesla's been pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like American cars are now on par with all the other cars.
It's
no?
Jeep. Okay, well,
Maybe
we're
not.
definitely.
I would be
not.
interested to
We're
know like
definitely-
horsepower versus cubic inch, like that ratio compared to Japanese cars, because I feel like those like GTRs and stuff like make so much fucking horsepower for such a small engine.
I think you're
So-
right. I was just looking at reliability. Tucker?
Sure.
No, I was just gonna ask if you meant like, do you think that the U.S. has more horsepower for the dollar, or you think that like, because I think that's true for sure. I think American cars, even taking out SUVs, which nobody else in the fucking world drives but us, right? Or at least to the a magnitude that we do.
Yeah,
Like-
Al-Qaeda likes them.
You're right. Toyota, North Africans love Toyota.
Those are pickups. Those are Tacomas, baby. But no, I thought
the
I'm
official pickup of Boko
Wait,
Haram.
did we talk about this? Did you tell me about the there was a raid where they used Tacoma pickup trucks to drive across a minefield in northern Africa, and there's like this whole thing on it. Like instead of cavalry, they used Tacoma.
I've seen a lot of terrorists driving those Tacomas and stuff. Like ISIS,
My
that's their
people.
preferred vehicle.
ISIS
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Antifa.
it's called the Great
us.
Toyota War. In 1987, the Great Toyota War of Chadian Libyan conflict. It's a real thing.
A Chadian Libyan conflict.
I'm glad we don't
Yeah.
have Chadian and Libyan like conflicts here. Just our biggest concern is fucking if we've got enough Clorox bleach to sanitize our homes and which car to buy next.